All right, I guess I just want to formally welcome everyone to the 2020 collaboration with Adobe. We're very happy to have Tim again this year. We worked with him last year. I think we had one session a month, really, really positive feedback. Tim, we're actually going about it a bit of a different way this year in terms of how we've advertised it. So really keen to see how that goes. So I hope everyone enjoys the session. If you've got any questions, please put them in the chat. Happy to answer, and we can relay them back to Tim as well.
Cindy, did you say 2020?
I hope I said 2022. Maybe Abigail can fix that in the recording.
Terrific. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Abigail, was there an opening slide you wanted to share, or do you want me to just go ahead and share my screen now?
Just go ahead, I think, Tim.
After all that work you put making the change to that opening slide.
I can put it in the video.
All right. So what we're covering today, and I'll get everyone to mute their microphones at the moment until we kind of ask you to contribute. And the topic is an overview of the Adobe Creative Cloud. And last year when we advertised this, we also added Spark Post. But since then, there's been this amazing, huge announcement from Adobe, which happened in December. So a lot of teachers would have missed it late last year as they were closing down. But Adobe Spark is now called Adobe Creative Cloud Express, but it has a whole lot more than just what Spark was. And Spark was amazing, but this is even more amazing. And we'll give you an overview of both of those systems today. And then we're going to have a deeper dive into one aspect of Creative Cloud Express that will be really practical for any teacher, but I'm thinking particularly for primary teachers because we've got a lot of them here at the moment. So we'll get into all of that in just a sec. I want to find out a bit more about you guys. So if you've got a mobile device, if you've got a phone, if you've got a tablet device, scan that QR code because it'll take you to a little poll, and I want to just get some information about what background you've already had, if any, with Adobe. It's an anonymous poll. There's no need to put any personal information in. If you can't scan that QR code, go ahead and just type into a separate window, type in minty.com, www.minty.com, and then the code is 32168727 down the bottom right-hand corner of that slide. And when I start seeing some results, I'm going to share them. We've already got 4 people who have already answered straight away, which is terrific. So I'm going to start sharing those results in just a second. In fact, if I drag that across there without hiding the QR code, I think what I might do in future, Cindy, is I might move the QR code over to the right so that we can also share the results straight away. So what happens here is we're asking in this first part of the poll, I hope you've had enough time now to find it, so we've got enough results. So I'll make this a bit bigger. Oh, and there's the code up the top here as well if you need it again, minty.com, and there's the numbers. Rate your overall experience with Adobe's Creative Cloud products. We've got 1 out of 8 who is a regular user of some Creative Cloud products. We've got 3 who are none to minimal users and 4 who are occasional users. And that's fairly typical of the audience that we tend to work with these sorts of events. So it's good for me to know that there are a few people here who have had very little to no Adobe experience, but we do have 1 who's a regular user. So that 1 person who's a regular user, are you able to open up your microphone now and identify yourself?
Sure thing. Yes, because I work in an office environment, I regularly use Adobe, especially the Acrobat DC. So like editing PDFs, but I have some experience with Premiere Pro and some digital editing.
Wow, Premiere Pro, like that's pretty full-on video editing. You know, Premiere Pro is actually used by Channel 9, Channel 7. It's actually used by Marvel Studios. Just about every one of their big blockbuster films over the last 10 years has been cut with Adobe Premiere Pro. So what are you doing in working in corporate, Carter? You should be working for Marvel.
It's funny you mentioned that. I actually, my background is in film and television, so I used to work in the costume department. And I just changed to state government last year. After 2 years of COVID, I think I needed a steady job.
Good on you, Carter. Well, thank you for sharing that information too. And it's probably a good point now just to be aware that at a professional level, our professional tools, which when you've got the Creative Cloud, you've got everything. You've got our low lift, very simple tools, but you've also got these incredibly powerful professional tools as well that are used at the highest levels of all sorts of industries. And I don't like to discriminate between them. I find that we shouldn't say things like, oh, that's Premiere Pro, that's a professional tool, not to be used by anyone under the age of 15 or something like that, because that really hampers a lot of creativity. And I know students who are as young as grade 4 who are making films regularly with Adobe Premiere Pro. They even have their own YouTube channels. Even though they're not old enough to potentially have a YouTube account, they still are making amazing products, animations and films with Adobe tools. They're professional tools. And we shouldn't discourage that. So that's something that is worth noting right from the start. Got a second part to this poll. Now it's got to remember how to get to that. So let's just go to this next part here. Rate your experience with the Adobe Education Exchange. It's a portal that's been around now for about 10 years. And just last year, we hit 1 million teachers as members, which was really exciting to get that metric. And we've got 3 of you who don't know about it. Well, you know about it now, which is good. And I'll tell you a bit more about it later. And 4 of you who know about it. 1 person is joined, but not an active member. And we'll just give it a bit more time for maybe 2 more responses. So that's generally what we get. Often I get about a 50-50 joined but not active, and a lot that don't know about it. There we go. That's getting closer to that. Terrific. All right, that gives me a sense of where you guys are all at in terms of the world of Adobe. And I'll be sharing some more information about the Adobe Education Exchange a little bit later on in this session. Let's start with a video. This is a new video that I put together with Adobe Premiere Pro. From memory, I use Character Animator too in this one. We can talk about that a little bit later, but it gives you an overview of Adobe in education. Adobe is the global leader when it comes to digital creativity software. Adobe applications are used at the highest levels of the multimedia and communications industries, as well as in primary schools, secondary schools, and universities all over the globe to enhance digital literacy, communication, and creativity. Adobe creativity software is now divided into 2 special homes, Creative Cloud Express and the Creative Cloud. Formerly known as Adobe Spark, Adobe Creative Cloud Express is a set of very simple to use creativity tools that can be used by anyone in any curriculum area and level to build powerful graphics, video stories, and web pages. Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education also includes the powerful Adobe Premiere Rush video editing application, as well as Photoshop Express, and is totally free of charge for K-12 schools around the world. The Adobe Creative Cloud is the home of Adobe's well-known industry standard applications such as Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Premiere Pro, XD, and a total of about 50 desktop, mobile, and web-based applications and resources. Other apps that are part of the Adobe Creative Cloud include Acrobat DC for creating, managing, and editing PDF documents and creating a paperless experience. Character Animator for real-time animation. Fresco, the ultimate drawing tool for the iPad and Surface Pro. Lightroom for outstanding photo editing. Aero for creating augmented reality experiences. After Effects for serious video effects and composites. And Audition for multi-track audio editing and podcasting. Get to know these applications through the Adobe Education Exchange, edx.adobe.com, which now has over 1 million members across the globe with a wide variety of free teaching resources and self-paced, on-demand professional development courses for educators. The Adobe Education Exchange is also the gateway to the Adobe Creative Educator program. This is a multi-level badging program designed for any educator in any curriculum area. You don't have to be an Adobe expert to be an Adobe Creative Educator. Scan this QR code or look up adobe.ly/edu events to find out more about coming events that Adobe is running for teachers, and use this QR code or look up adobe.ly/contact-edu-apac to get in touch with the Adobe Education team or subscribe to their monthly newsletter. Please let your colleagues know about what is possible with Adobe's amazing tools to enhance digital literacy, communication, and creativity in the teaching and learning process. It's only the second time I've played that video to an audience of teachers, and I've already picked up a couple of errors that I need to fix up. So thank you for being my guinea pigs there. I've just thrown in some of those key links into the chat in case you want to look back at them, and I'll talk about some of them later on, because we're only going to scratch the surface on a little bit of what Adobe has to offer in terms of education resources. So giving you these links allows you then to follow up on anything that you think might be worth following up on, but most importantly, then sharing it with key teachers who you think would benefit from knowing about this as well. So the Adobe Creative Cloud applications, I tend to say this when I'm working with schools that are outside of New South Wales and Victoria, because the Victorian Department of Education and Training and the New South Wales Department of Education have actually provided the Creative Cloud to every one of their secondary schools throughout the whole state at no cost. That's how important both of those governments have felt that these tools are for students to be developing skills in and learning to prepare them for whatever they do in the future. Every other system, including South Australian Department for Education, they provide funding for each school to decide what software is going to be used at the school. So you have to then, as a school, decide which software is going to be most relevant for you. So you don't get blanket access to the Creative Cloud, just letting you know that right from the start. It is a decision the school has to make. I was so pleased when Adobe announced that they, and I've known this for almost 18 months, but I had to bite my tongue on this until December last year, that the Adobe Creative Cloud Express for education is free for all K-12 schools. And that was just awesome to hear, because now every school has access to not the full Creative Cloud, but a great minimal package of Creative Cloud. And we'll go through what that actually means in just a minute. But just so that you're aware how to find out whether you've got Creative Cloud, or when you've got it, what you can do with it, probably the simplest way, and then Cindy, you might want to correct me if I'm wrong here, but if they go to creativecloud.adobe.com and then log in with their school email address, is that probably the best way for them to see what they've got?
Yes, I believe so. I was chatting with Matthew earlier today, and I think that's the way that he did it. So just be aware, though, that you do need to have that agreement with Adobe. If not, I don't think that you'll see very much there.
And what I will do is just put that link into the chat to make it a little bit easier for everyone. Let's just bypass that. That's okay. I'll see if I can do that again. What I'm going to do is I'm just bringing across a Chrome browser and going into that exact link, creativecloud.adobe.com. It's instantly asking me to sign in, and this is where you would instantly then put in your school email address. I'm going to put in my Adobe email address. I've got a personal account plus a school or company account, so I'll jump into my company account. And I actually have to go through 2 layers of authentication, which is a bit of a pain. I tend to find when other teachers are doing this, and I'll just keep that link available so you can see it as well. I find that other teachers who I'm working with actually beat me to it when I'm going through this process, because it takes me a bit longer than most people to get into it. But once you're into it, which is really cool. So I've just done my second layer of authentication via my phone. And now I'm in the Creative Cloud, and I can start exploring and playing and actively learning and doing all sorts of things. So let me show you what this actually means. I'll just make that a little bit smaller so you can see the whole screen, but also still see that link at the top. Now, what you've got here is a series of tabs at the top. You've got the Creative Cloud icon that takes you back home straight away. Then you've got Apps. If you click on the Apps tab, this will show you what you've got access to if you've got it. And you can then see, and for me it says open, 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 because I've installed all of these apps. These are the Creative Cloud applications. For most of you, if you've got access, it'll say download. And that's how you can download those apps onto your device so that you can then play with it. Even though it's called the Creative Cloud, they're not cloud-based tools. They're not like Google, where you kind of have to be online virtually all the time to work with the tools. They are just like they have always been. They're apps that fit in your computer, on your computer, and just link to the cloud. And they work much better when you're online, but they still work when you're offline. So just keep aware, don't be confused by the word cloud in Creative Cloud. There was a big confusion. It was back in 2013 when we moved from the Creative Suite to the Creative Cloud, and so many people were asking that question. But how do you work with Photoshop in the cloud? I don't have enough bandwidth to do it. And eventually those questions died down when they realized it's still the same. It's an app within your device. So what we've got on the left-hand side is a whole series of categories. So if you want to see what apps you've got for photography, click on Photo, and you can see there's Lightroom, there's Photoshop, and there's Lightroom Classic. And you not only get to see that, and there's Photoshop Camera as well, but you can see that it tells you what the app is. It gives you a little demo, in a sense, a little photo of it being used. But more importantly, you can jump in to where you can either open it up or just learn more about it. And we even go through some courses, some tutorials that teach you guides on how to use those particular apps. So this is a lovely one-stop shop, not only to open up the app, download the app, but also learn about the app as well. And there are three main applications when it comes to photography. When it comes to graphic design, Illustrator is the app in the graphic design world. But of course, Photoshop is really important in that world as well. And then you've got apps like InDesign, which are the industry standard for the print industry. I heard that 80% of all books, all magazines, and all newspapers around the world are actually laid out with Adobe InDesign as an industry standard desktop publishing tool. So it's pretty cool. And then there's a whole range of other assets that relate to graphic design that are available through the Creative Cloud. My favorite section is video. So I'm clicking on the video and you can see Premiere Rush, which is a cut down version of Premiere Pro. Nowhere near as complicated as Premiere Pro, but still really powerful. And what it does, it's a mobile tool, but also a laptop desktop tool. And if you're working with the mobile version on, say, your phone or your iPad or your Android device, it has a your built-in camera can be turned into a professional camera. So you can be recording with a whole lot of settings that you don't normally get with your normal camera. So white balance adjustments and changing of focus and opacity, not opacity, but that's the word I'm thinking of. It's escaped me now. Anyway, and so you've got all those settings to adjust, and you can do your recording and you can do your editing all on your phone. And if that's not helpful, you can always, because you're saving into the cloud, you can always open up the same project on your laptop and have more real estate to work with. And if you've run out of, if you're a bit frustrated by the limitations of Premiere Rush, you can go to a brand new button in Premiere Pro called Open Premiere Rush Project. And it opens up what you've started on your phone in Premiere Pro. And you get all the bells and whistles of the full-on industry standard video editing solution that you've started just by working with it with your thumbs on your phone. So that's a really lovely workflow from Premiere Rush to Premiere Pro. The other thing to note with Premiere Rush is that it is free as part of the Creative Cloud Express setup that we mentioned earlier, and we'll talk more about that soon. Other video tools, After Effects, which is a full-on video compositing and special effects tool. Audition, which isn't video, it's audio, but it's used by video producers to really make their audio amazing. And I use it for podcasting. I use it for all my voiceover work I do through Audition. And I even use it for mastering, even though I don't use Audition necessarily as a multi-track recording studio, which it can be used for. I tend to use GarageBand when I'm doing my music. because I'm an ex-music teacher and I like recording my own songs. But I do my mastering in Audition, because the mastering filters within Audition are as superior as any mastering that you pay thousands of dollars for with Pro Tools or mental blank. Gosh, I had a bit of surgery early this week, and I'm finding I'm getting lots of mental blanks during my presentations this week, so I do apologize. Character Animator is unbelievable. It's becoming one of my favorite Adobe applications in the Creative Cloud because it's real-time animation. What you do is you've got these built-in puppets within Character Animator, and you can manipulate them just by moving your head. Your webcam tracks the features of your face, and as you blink your eyes, your puppet blinks its eyes. As you move, the puppet moves. As you open and close your mouth, the puppet opens and closes its mouth. And as you record your voice is being recorded. So all of that animation is being done in real time. And just last year, we launched the new version of Character Animator that allowed you to do not just facial real-time animation, but whole body. So you can actually move your arms and your whole body and legs, and so your whole puppet can be moved depending on how that puppet's been made. And I love it when students are making their own puppets. There's a little app within Character Animator now that actually can turn your own face into a digital puppet in just a few seconds. It's so much fun for kids to then create with. And I was very fortunate last year to be asked to speak at Adobe Max, which is our big international conference that we run each year. And I was asked to do a presentation on how Character Animator can be used in schools to help students share their voice when they normally wouldn't want to share their voice. So you know those students who just hate being in front of a camera or just hate being in front of their own peers or anyone because of the pressure of that. But to allow them to manipulate a digital puppet instead, it just opens up a whole new world for them. And so it was a great presentation. We had over 5 million hits to Adobe Max last year and the year before because it went virtual rather than the usual 20,000 creatives from all over the world that come to Los Angeles for the big event. We had it virtually and 5 million hits. It was just an incredible experience. Let's jump into some more. Animate is also an animation tool that's used for 2D animation. It used to be called Flash Professional. Many of you would know that as it was the industry standard for animation for many years, and it's still a really powerful tool in that sense. But now it's HTML based rather than ActionScript based. But you can still do it in ActionScript if you know anything what I'm talking about there. Then we've got a range of other assets. In terms of illustrations, Photoshop, Illustrator, of course. Fresco is just a fabulous tool. It's also a free tool. It's available for iPads and Surface Pros. When you're working with your Apple Pencil or your stylus from Microsoft, that's the ideal. But you can use your finger, you can use your fingernail and create some really powerful tools. It does watercolors, it does paint, it does sketching, it does pencils. It's just getting more and more powerful. And now it's also a mixture of what's called vector-based drawing and raster-based drawing or bitmap-based drawing. So you can draw in pixel-based, like in Photoshop, or you can draw in vectors, like in Illustrator. And when you're drawing with a vector, you can scale it as big as a building and you're not losing any quality because it's mathematical algorithms that you're literally drawing, and then they change as you scale. And that's why graphic designers love working with vectors and working with Illustrator and Fresco to do their designs. And there's a range of other apps too that fit into the area of illustration. In terms of UI and UX, user experience and user interfaces, you've got this concept, this relatively new app called Adobe XD. It's been about 4 years now since we launched it, and it's still improving every year. It's getting better and better. It's only just this year we've now allowed people to create hyperlinks through it and also add video content into it. It's a way of designing anything, really. It originally was created to design mobile apps and to get your students to create what will be potentially an app that they'll put on the App Store or on Google Play Store. But it's all about the design thinking process. So you're going through all of those sort of steps when you're building this particular design. And then you've got a working prototype of what you've designed on your phone or on your tablet device. And what I love is when I go into schools, not that I've been into many schools over the last couple of years, but what I did love seeing when I was going into schools, and I have seen virtually, is instead of students using PowerPoint, I mean, as much as I love PowerPoint, actually, I've got to be honest, I don't love PowerPoint that much. I don't use it much, but I used to love PowerPoint. Isn't it great to have an alternative? Like, I remember I was teaching PowerPoint back in 1993. That's how old I am. That's how old PowerPoint is. To actually get the students to share their learnings through an app rather than through a set of PowerPoint slides, it just opens up a whole new world for them. So there's lots of different ways you can link XD into the teaching and learning process. 3D and AR, I'm not going to dwell on this too much because this is more for higher ed. Unfortunately, the Substance apps haven't been available for K-12 yet. And I'm still working with the team trying to understand their logic there as to why they're not allowing that. But in higher ed, they're being used quite extensively. And it's all about 3D and virtual photography and just brilliant what you can do. Let's see if we get an image there. They're not actual videos, but there's some great tools that are not available to K-12 just yet, but they are amazing. But Aero is free. It's only on iOS, so it's only iPads and iPhones, but there is now a desktop version, not quite fully released yet by the looks, but it's all about creating augmented reality experiences. And what I've seen with primary schools particularly is English teachers who are trying to encourage students to do some creative writing, getting them to put up a little dinosaur that's part of the app and a few trees and creating this augmented reality experience with their iPads, but then making it outside. So the dinosaur is roaring outside with the trees and the kids are suddenly in there with the dinosaur and acting with the dinosaur as it roars, and then recording all of that and then turning that into a writing stimulus for the kids to write about what they've just experienced. Little things like that just help the engagement process and help particularly students who find writing really hard. Suddenly they're really engaged and really interested in what they're doing because they've had it as an augmented reality experience. Another great session I've been running with Microsoft recently is getting them to create their Minecraft worlds, but to create a Minecraft objects and then bring them into Aero to turn them into augmented reality experiences. So suddenly that Minecraft world that they've created, they become part of that world. And they can actually walk into the different objects and see them inside because it's an augmented reality experience. So lovely connection there between Minecraft and Aero. And finally, we've got our Acrobat and PDF, which is how Adobe got started as a company back in the early 1980s. We invented the PDF. We helped make the world paperless. Not sure if we've actually achieved that yet, especially in education, but we're working on it and we've got solutions. Acrobat's an incredible solution when it comes to turning paperless, having a paperless office, paperless classroom. Adobe Scan, it's a free app that allows you to have a scanner. It even does OCR scanning, optical character recognition scanning, all within just your phone or your Android device, which is pretty cool. And of course, our Adobe Sign solutions, there's a lot of schools that have taken that up as their digital signature solutions. I used to be a year 10 coordinator. I did that for 5 years. And in that role, there were so many things that I had to get parents to sign for camps and excursions and all sorts of things. I wish I had a digital solution like this when I was a year 10 coordinator, and so many schools are taking this up as a wonderful solution for their school. It's not strictly just part of the Creative Cloud. There is an extra cost to get the full Adobe Sign experience, but there is a limited version within what you get with the Creative Cloud. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute because that is the Creative Cloud in essence. There's a lot of other stuff to it too, where you can manage a lot of files, you can have your own libraries, and you can share assets across all sorts of different applications, and you can sync and collaborate with other teams of people, other students. You can set up units of work and have collaborated folders between all your students. There's so many different aspects that we're not going to even touch on today, but just so that you're aware of that they are there. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute, take it back to the home page, and I'm going to open it up to you guys now to see if there's any questions, comments, thoughts about what I've just prepared before we have a look at the Creative Cloud Express solutions. Feel free to open up your microphone if you'd like to. We haven't got a huge amount of people here, so. We've got someone here, I think it might be Abigail, saying, would recommend Capture if you haven't used it. Great for digitizing students' artwork. Yeah, Capture is a free app. It's available on Android and iOS. I'm pretty sure, definitely iOS. I'm pretty sure it's Android as well. And
yeah, definitely Android, because that's what I use.
And what were you using it for, Abigail, most recently?
Because I'm not a teacher at the moment, I'm out of the classroom. I was just using it for my own kids' work, to take photos and then upload them into Snapfish and create artwork for Christmas presents.
So were you vectorizing that artwork?
Yeah.
So it's a way of actually converting anything really into a vector so that you can then bring it into Illustrator and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, it makes colouring in look a lot neater.
So that's one thing Capture does. Capture also allows you to search for a font. If you find a font that you like, you can capture that font and then find out an equivalent font or the same font that you might have access to. It also allows you to capture a colour scheme. You might love the colours. I'm just looking at David Ward's classroom now. There's lots of colours around there. It's very blue. And what I might do is take a capture of that, and then I can convert all those colours into a colour scheme that I can work with in InDesign or Photoshop or Illustrator. Or there's another feature where I could grab the colour grading. If I want that look and feel that I'm seeing now in David's camera, I want that to be in my video. I want to have a similar type of color grading in my video. Capture will do that too. And it's a free app. It's really, really cool. Any other comments, questions before we move on? All right, just give me an opportunity. Can you go to your chat now and tell me whether you have already now got access to Adobe Creative Cloud? Just give us a yes, no response to that. Yes, I've got Creative Cloud. No, I haven't got it yet. Matthew's got it. Good. It's great to see Matthew's got it out of primary school too, because that's not as common. And
it wasn't easy, but I'm there.
Good. So Matthew, how did you get it? Just for advice for other primary schools.
The department offers Windows to be able to sign in at a discounted price, I believe. So I tried to jump on one of those.
Excellent. Cindy, is that something that you could help with?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure if Amanda's online at the moment. Yeah, thank you. Amanda's probably better suited to answer that one.
So basically, we've got an opt-in arrangement. So if schools want to opt into the Adobe agreement, they do, and that's how they offer it to their staff and students.
Is there a portal or a link or something, Amanda, that you can share on the chat, just in case there are people here who are interested, or people watching the recording?
So with Adobe's agreement, you guys only allow us to opt in on a 6-month basis. So our next opt-in isn't until June. So unfortunately, if someone doesn't have it now, they would have to wait until then. But yes, there is a website where we've got some information. I can put the link in there.
That'd be great, because with most schools, and I was a school administrator too for a number of years, it's not something you can just do straight away. It takes time to organise budget arrangements and so on. So with June on the horizon, this would be a good time now to start thinking about whether this is important for you. So we've got Carter saying yes, and Kate saying yes, and Amanda's got it, and Carl's got it. Rob's saying, yep, we have it at Shido Park School for a few teachers and myself as the IT tech. So a limited access to it. And David saying yes, we know the department has an account, so we have about 3 licenses. Okay, so it's really just for some key teachers then. And Michael has it for the staff at a cost. Yeah. Tracy, no, but not part of a school. No worries. Okay, let's jump into, and Faye's got it too. Thanks, Faye. Let's jump into what you do have. Now, when I say you do have, there's still you still need to have it managed. Like, there's this thing called the Adobe Admin Console, which doesn't cost anything. It's a free download, but it's the way you manage all of your users when you've got the Creative Cloud. So those of you who've got Creative Cloud, you might already know about the Adobe Admin Console. Unless, Cindy, is it managed centrally through the department, or is it managed by the schools?
It's Amanda. It's managed by each individual school.
Oh, good. So that makes it easier in the sense that now that many of your schools have already got the admin console, you can use that same console to get access to the Adobe Creative Cloud Express. The reason why I'm suggesting that's a good thing to do is because if you want to get the free version of Adobe Creative Cloud, which is like the free version of Spark, you have to be 13, because you're going through Google or Facebook or Apple or an Adobe ID, which requires you to be 13. But if you go through your Adobe Admin Console and manage it yourself, then no personal information needs to go to Apple or Facebook or Google or Adobe. You're managing it all. So all the under 13s then get access to it. So keep that in mind as we share this clip. And this video, I created it as soon as I possibly could when I heard that Creative Cloud Express was becoming available. So this will give you a bit of background into it. Have you heard the news? Adobe has launched Adobe Creative Cloud Express, a set of low-lift web and mobile tools that make it easy for anyone to creatively express themselves. Adobe Creative Cloud Express makes it possible for everyone, independent of skill level and confidence, to creatively communicate and collaborate. Next time you open what was Adobe Spark on a browser, you will notice the difference. What was the free version of Adobe Spark is now the free version of Adobe Creative Cloud Express, with the added bonus of some extra editing features for images and videos, such as resizing an image, removing an image background, converting to JPEG or PNG, trimming a video, resizing and cropping a video, merging videos, changing video speed, and reversing video content. But wait, there's more, especially if you're a primary or secondary school student or teacher. Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education is free for all K-12 schools and has even more features. The new Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education includes the well-known classic features from Adobe Spark on the browser, plus mobile apps including Adobe Premiere Rush for powerful video editing on the go, Adobe Photoshop Express for powerful image manipulation, the popular Adobe Spark Video for simple video stories, and Adobe Spark Page for publishing web content. It gives students and educators everything they need to confidently create standout graphics, photos, presentations, web pages, and video stories to express themselves in unique and beautiful ways, both inside and outside the classroom in any subject area. Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education also offers safe search functionality. Education-specific privacy controls can be deployed in a way that allows schools to meet student privacy obligations. The ability to set up single sign-on so students can easily log in with their existing school ID. Thousands of premium creative assets and student-friendly Adobe Stock images are also included. With Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education, schools own the accounts and exercise admin rights over. And it's all totally free of charge for K-12 schools. If your school is already working with Adobe Spark, then there's nothing else that needs to be done for the change to Adobe Creative Cloud Express to occur. It has now changed, and you are now working with the new system. If your school is yet to be set up with free access, then go to www.adobe.com/education/express to learn how IT admins can set up accounts for individual schools and districts. Teachers, look up edx.adobe.com/express to find lots of great new resources to help you teach with Adobe Creative Cloud Express on the Adobe Education Exchange. Also, If you're not already getting the Australasian Adobe in Education monthly newsletter updates, use this QR code or link to subscribe and keep regularly informed with all the free professional learning opportunities that are happening throughout 2022 that relate to Adobe Creative Cloud and the new Adobe Creative Cloud Express. Get to know Adobe Creative Cloud Express. It's a great way to be introduced to the full Adobe Creative Cloud where there is no limit to your creativity. And with Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education, all K-12 students and teachers get free access to some very powerful creativity tools. Keep being creative. And I noticed another typo in that video. You know, I had so many people actually look at it, and every time I see it, I pick up another little typo. So I'm going to have to redo that one too. But it gave you an overview anyway of what Creative Cloud Express is all about. I noticed there's been a bit of a chat in the chat box. Cindy, have you been monitoring it all?
Yes, I have. It was just questions about what the address was again and whatnot.
Anything that I need to address right now?
No, it looks fine. Abigail answered one as well, so it looks like it's all been taken care of.
Excellent, because what I want to do now is actually get you into Creative Cloud Express and let's build something, let's create something. So even if your school hasn't got it yet through the school system, because you're all over 13, you can access it through Facebook, Google, Apple, or your Adobe IDs. So let's go through that process right now. I'm going to grab a browser, and I'll get you to do the same. Just grab a brand new, fresh browser. I'm using Chrome, but you can use any browser system that you like, except Internet Explorer. If you're still using Internet Explorer, it's time to stop. Like, seriously. Not even Microsoft are using Internet Explorer anymore. You're not going to have a good experience if you're still with Internet Explorer. Edge will be fine. Edge is great. Don't use Internet Explorer. Now, the address... Safari? Yeah, Safari is perfect. Yeah, use it all the time with it. It's great. Except you have to be on a Mac, of course. Look, I've got spark.adobe.com there, but it's now turned into express.adobe.com. So that's the link you want to be looking for, express.adobe.com. I'll put it into the chat. If you did type in spark.adobe.com, it would convert to Express. And, oh, I've already logged in, so I'm going to log out to go through the login experience for you because I was using it just before this session. And when you go into express.adobe.com, you should get a login window similar to this. There might be some sort of marketing or onboarding page that might be a little video that explains what it is all about. Just close that down for the moment. What you're looking for is this login page. And you can see I'd normally want to direct you straight to log in with your school account. And if you know that you've already got a Creative Cloud account, then that'll work for you and that'll be fine. And this is where I want all of your students to be able to access it through their school accounts for the reasons I explained earlier. But if you can't at this stage, log in with Google, log in with Facebook, log in with Apple, or if you haven't got either of those, quickly create an Adobe ID. There's no cost involved, and sign up with your email, and so you can log in at least to have some sort of experience with Creative Cloud Express now. I'm going to log in with my school account, just like I did earlier. I think the reason why I was logged in earlier is because I'd logged in with Creative Cloud. I did that with you, and that's why I was already logged in. Yeah, and I don't have to ask for a second layer of authentication because I've already done that once, so it trusts that I am who I am. Now, folks, this is it. This is Creative Cloud Express on the browser. There is it's a very similar experience with mobile, although with, say, an iPhone or an Android device or an iPad, you can do all this through the browser now. You couldn't do that before with Spark. It always directed you to the mobile versions of Spark, but now you can actually do what we're about to do on your browser, on your phone or on your tablet or on your iPad. Or you can choose to use the Adobe Creative Cloud Express app or the Spark Video app or the Spark Page app. So there are separate apps that can do what we're about to do as well. Now, what I think we'll do is I just want to show you around it first, and then we'll actually play something. Instantly, it's asking you to create something with one of these templates, which is rather nice. it's kind of a shame in a sense that it's instantly going to social media, and that might put off a few teachers straight away. But just ignore the fact that it does say Instagram and realize that what we're creating here is a poster. We're creating a banner. We're building a desktop publishing solution is what we're working with here when we want to create a graphic. What you might want to do when you're working with your kids is get them to go straight to this plus symbol at the top left-hand corner, because when you click on that, you can see all the different things that you can create with Adobe Creative Cloud Express, including all the amazing quick actions that were mentioned in that video. So you can create custom-sized graphics. You can click on that button and then decide how big you want your graphic to be straight away. If you know about pixels, you can choose your pixel size. Otherwise, go to, say, a popular size, which is, again, is social media based, or a popular poster size in inches, or go to print and you can just choose A4 because that's probably going to be your standard size. Or if you know you've got an A3 printer and you want to print this poster out in A3, go ahead and create it in A3. So if I go to A4, for instance, and then click Next, I'm now ready to start building my poster. I don't have to go back to those templates because a lot of those templates are still now sitting here for A4 posters. And I can go searching. If I want to do, one of my co-host on my YouTube show is just about to have a baby, or she will be in a few months, and she announced it on the show last night. It was really exciting, and we did a little demo, and so we did the topic of baby. So that was a bit of a theme. So I'm just going to do that now, and we found this wonderful template announcing that a baby's about to be arrived. It was this one here. It was just beautiful, and when you clicked on that, you can see she could replace that photo with her. And she can just click on all the different little elements of the poster and replace them, change them, add them. These are called icons. That's a basic text box. She can go and change it from a girl to boy. If it's a boy, in this case, it was a girl. So you've got all of those manipulations that you can work with. And all of those features are sitting there as layers. So when you're introducing your students to this very simple desktop publisher, you're introducing them to Photoshop. You're introducing them to InDesign, you're introducing them to Illustrator and all those apps that relate to different layers. Not so much InDesign, I should say, but certainly Photoshop. And you can move those layers around, and it's very, very user-friendly and simple to work with. On the left-hand side, you've got options here to add text, and there's lots of different templates for text that you can bring in if you want to, or just add your own text. I'll just say, congratulations. And now that that text box is in there, I can rotate it if I want to. I can resize it. Move it around wherever I want it to go, and I can play with the shapes behind it, the shadows, the outlines. I love this little button down here, Find a New Style. This is lovely when it comes to a text box, because every time you press that button, it does give you some other inspiration and ideas of how you might want to present that bit of text. You might like it, and if you like it, you can stick with it. If you don't, you can always go to the undo and redo buttons at the top here and just undo until you get back to one that you did like. So stick with that one there for the moment. You've got photo options here. When you click on photos, you can see that you can search for the Adobe Stock images. And if you've logged in with the Adobe Creative Cloud Express via your school account, all the images are restricted to K-12 friendly images. Because if you went to Adobe Stock now and just did a search, you could find all sorts of images, and you'd be relying on your school filters to protect your students in that sense. So we've got two layers of protection there. We've got our own filters, and then you've got your school filters on top of that too. So if I went and searched for baby through here, would find a whole lot of baby images that are under Adobe Stock. And Adobe Stock is a repository of millions and millions of amazing photos from professional photographers all over the world, and non-professional photographers too. Anyone who wants to add to Adobe Stock can actually get paid for contributing to Adobe Stock, and that's how it's been so successful. In fact, when I watch the ABC News regularly, I'll say, yep, I know that image. That's from Adobe Stock, because they use Adobe Stock all the time. When they're not creating their own images, they'll use Adobe Stock for their images. It's not just photos, it's also video content, it's 3D assets, it's music, it's It's an incredible resource that's linked to Creative Cloud, but if you want to get the full version of it, you do have to pay extra. So that's why it's lovely to know that it's all free within Creative Cloud Express. So if I wanted to choose, say, that little baby photo there, I'd click on it and it should start appearing. There we go. And then I can manipulate that, move it around, change the size of it, rotate it if I want to, do all sorts of things. There's a few filters I can bring in and so on and so on. If you don't want to bring in an Adobe Stock photo, you can go and just bring in your own photo. You can just upload any image that you've got on your device. And that's really handy as well. And so you just click on upload photo and go searching for wherever that photo is, and that'll appear. Icons are wonderful. These are just brilliant. There we go. It's search for love. It's got a little bit of artificial intelligence in there. It's recognized the picture and it's thinking, yeah, you probably want something related to love. So that's fine. I could change that to baby. And then I can choose any one of these icons. And as I click on it, it appears on my stage and I can rework the colors. I can play with the opacity of it. If I wanted to just make it a little bit lighter, I can change the horizontal or the vertical alignments of it. And yeah, have all sorts of fun with these icons. Really good if you're creating an infographic for a unit of work, just to have icons representing different parts of the information that you want the students to present. And then search for arrows, so you're pointing to different parts of your infographic. You've got text boxes and icons, and in 5 minutes, the students have created this really cool infographic. Digital assets are wonderful too. You've got background images. You've got all sorts of different assets that you can search for. I'll do a search for baby again and see what comes up. Yeah, some of those might be helpful or not, and then you just bring them in. And then you've got other sorts of backgrounds that you can bring in that all come on different themes and play with those. If you don't have a background, you can always download what you've created as a PNG with a transparent background. And that's really handy as well to know that you've got that option to download as a PNG file, the JPEG file, or a PDF. And the ultimate solution here is to also share it. If you share and publish it, you can have a link, and that link you can then send to anyone in the world and they'll instantly be able to see what you've created. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to publish, and it's packaging what I've created, it's sending it to one of our web servers, and then I'm just clicking the link button here. I could go to Microsoft Teams, I could go to Google Classrooms and then work directly with my own school environment to stay all in-house in that sense. But in this case, I'm just going to generate a quick link, click copy, go to the chat, and if you go and click on that link in the chat, you'll see what I've just built. So that's another nice way of sharing. And the other thing I wanted to quickly show you in this part of Creative Cloud Express is this is a really cool button just here. This invitation button allows you to go and invite people to not just look at your work, but to collaborate with you and to help you build the same project. So Creative Cloud Express, the poster side of it, the video side of it, and the web page side of it are all really cool collaborative tools as well. And that's really handy. And of course, collaboration is such an important part, such an important skill that we should be encouraging our students to do whenever we possibly can. And I encourage you as educators, every time you're creating an assessment task, a unit of work, try to add a collaboration element to it. Because if your students aren't learning to work in teams when they're in primary and secondary school, they're going to find it so much harder when they get into the real world, where it's so important to have that skill. So that's an introduction to Creative Cloud Express. I've got a little challenge for you. And what I want you to do, is move that out of the way, is have a look at this. This is a little infographic. We did not a competition, we did a little, we'll call it an activity with about 4,000 teachers just a few weeks ago to get them to create an infographic about themselves for the start of the year. And these are some of the results which came about, and they look fantastic. It's all based on a template that I'm about to give you, and then I'm going to give you 15 minutes, you might not even need that, to create your own. I want you to create an infographic that's similar to this, And you can use your own photo or use an avatar or use something else that represents you if you want to. But, oh, look who that is there. That was before I had the surgery. And this one, I love this one. This is just, she's a graphic designer. She's a graphic design teacher, so that's why hers is looking so amazing. But here's the template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that link into the chat for you. And when you click that link, it'll take you to the template. And you can do this as a teacher too. You can create your own templates and send them to your students through Google Classrooms, through Microsoft Teams, whichever way, or just email it to them. And then they can rework your template. And this is just another really good activity. So go ahead and click that link now, and I'm going to do the same. I'm clicking the link, and it's opening up on a separate browser. Here's what it should look like for you as well. You've got access to the template. Now you need to click this button down the bottom called Remix This Design. And when you click that button, it'll check if you've logged in, and you might need to just double check. So I'm just going to check that I've logged in properly. Oh, because I'm on a different browser now. That's why it's asking me to log in. For you, it'll probably be in straight away. So I'm just going to quickly log in again. And you will see a remixable version. You're probably in there already before I got in there. And Cindy, you're going to be my timekeeper. Are you still with us?
Yes, still here.
And let's say in, let's say 10 minutes, and we'll see how people are going in 10 minutes. Yep. So start the clock now.
Will do.
Everyone's got 10 minutes to recreate this infographic, this template, and at the same time, learn a bit more about this part of Creative Cloud Express. While you're doing it, I'm very happy to have people interrupt, ask questions, open up their microphone if they need any support, any help. But just have a play. Use this as playtime now. And I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to start by getting rid of her, just deleting a picture of her. And I'm going to bring in a picture of me.
Tim, can everybody make a template with that remix button? Because I can see how to do a template, but I can't find how to make it a remix.
So one of the options in downloading is to make a template.
Yeah, I've done that.
And once you've made a template, you get something like this, and then you can go to the share option.
Okay.
So you can go and send it to Google Drive, or just share it, publish it, share it, or invite individual people to work with you. And
that will automatically make it.
It should do. I must admit, I've never actually done that step. So if you want to have a try, have a go and let me know.
Give it a go.
Well, that seems to be the logical process from what I can see here. Good question, Abigail. How are we going for timing, Cindy?
All good. We've got 8 minutes to go.
Excellent. Now, I've just brought in a JPEG, so I haven't got it. If I had a PNG file, oh, do you know what I could have done? Instead of getting rid of the girl, I wonder.
I saw you've got a remove background button there, Tim. Does that work?
That does work, but another thing I've just noticed, because this picture was originally a PNG file with a transparent background, I reckon if I just click on that picture and then upload that same JPEG that I brought in, I'm just going to test something here because I think this will work. I think it automatically brings in, there we go, it brings in the filter and it automatically gets rid of the background. That is so cool. A little bit of artificial intelligence in there.
Because this was shared on the Facebook page, I've already tried it out. I think it's great. But yeah, it's great. You can use it with students. There's a student template floating around as well, but I don't have the link to it. It says instead of she isn't teaching, it's she isn't at school or something like that. But
you should mention that, Abigail, because I'm just now in the chat and I'm going to put that student template in, because this could be a really cool activity that you might want to do with your students at some point. So
I tried it out with my eldest who's in year 3 and he loved doing it. So yeah.
most favourite subject?
We have 6 minutes left.
Thank you, Cindy. Thanks for the update. A little bit of background music in the back. Are you hearing that, Cindy? Are you hearing some background music?
Yes, can hear it loud and clear.
Good. Bit of thinking and working music. How's timing going, Cindy?
We have 3 more minutes to go.
Pressure's on, folks. If you have already finished, feel free to go and publish like I'm about to do now, and then add it to the chat so we can have a look at what you have created. How many more minutes?
2.
Okay. Just notice that 8,500 teachers have accessed this template. That's probably why I'm not able to publish it.
One more minute.
If you're not able to publish it, like I'm having some issues publishing too, probably because we've had so many people use the same template, then we can share screens if you would like to. There's no compulsion to do it, but it'd be good to see what you've been able to achieve in the short time that you've had. I'm looking forward to seeing what David's created. He's looking very happy there. Guess what, David? You're going to be first. How many seconds, Cindy?
I think we're ready. There you go. It's done.
Done. 10 minutes is up. Time is up. All right. Music is stopping. David, are you happy to share your screen? I'm going to stop sharing mine. Feel free to open up your microphone, David.
Sorry, I'm on two screens here. I've got the big TV, but unfortunately the photo. How am I going to share it with you? What do I do?
Near the top right-hand corner, next to the leave button, is a share screen option.
Okay. Yeah. Hang on, where am I color there?
Oh, cool! Look at that. That's amazing.
Well, I ended up shaving my head, so I need to go back and put my hair back on.
I love it. That's great.
Thank you.
Over 5,000 students. That was probably just last year.
Oh, I think I've left some of the last ones on. I didn't quite get to that. I got too upset with my hairdo there.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, David, that deserves a round of applause, and hopefully, there we go. Round of applause for you, David.
Thank you.
Well done.
Okay.
How did you find? Was this the first time you've used it, David?
Sorry?
Was this the first time you've used it?
Yes, yeah, but I'm still working my way through Teams, and when I've got two screens, that makes it hard. But this program, yes, is the first time. But I do use Photoshop a lot.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I think this would be good if I've got all my bits and pieces ready to go, and I want something quick. But I really love using Photoshop. So, yeah.
Hey, so tell me, David, what about your students? Could they make use of this?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can just access this. See, at our school we don't have a whole site license. So
no, you don't need it.
Sorry?
You don't need it. It's all free of charge.
So we just, any device we're on, and for us to get them on, I don't manage the account. So do I have to have some special permission?
Yeah, so once you've had a chat to whoever's looking after the Adobe admin console, and all they need to do is add all the students' email addresses into that system, and then bang, they've got access to it.
All right. And the handy thing there is that's my wife that manages it.
Perfect. Got a way in there.
Thank you.
That's terrific. Thank you, David. And let's see. Cato, are you able to share, or are you happy to share?
I'm completely locked. I want to share it.
Is he asking you?
No, Cato.
Yes, I am. Do you want me to pop in the link, or how shall we do this?
Just share your screen, it might be quicker.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
Can you see that?
Yeah, it looks great. Where are you standing?
It's in the Blue Mountains.
Sensational. Amazing. And favourite subjects, art, love reading books. She wasn't working, she's watching telly. Biggest success, moving to Australia. Where from,
I'm from Hungary.
Oh, wow. There you go. It's quite a move. Move from film, TV to corporate. And there's your favorite food. Excited about learning how to use some more creativity products. Lovely. That deserves a round of applause as well. Thank you very much for sharing. Nice work. And what about Tracy? Are you happy to share yours, Tracy? Oh. Are you there, Tracy? She may have drifted off. How about Abigail? Did you do one for us, Abigail?
I did, but
no,
I don't have it up.
Sorry, Abigail. Tracy's with us now. We'll get to you in a minute. So Tracy says she loves reading books, drinking coffee. It looks fantastic. Well done. That's terrific. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Tracy. And Tracy, have you got a microphone there to have a chat with us or not? Probably not. All right, Abigail, your turn. Tracy, I'll get you.
Because I'm using Teams in another account. Oh, I might be okay. Oh yeah. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, nice. Is that your avatar? Is it?
Yeah. I didn't want a real photo.
She isn't. When she isn't teaching, she is. And
gardening.
Gardening. Got it. Yeah, it's just a little bit small. Biggest success ICT. That's it. Young Explorers Challenge. Yeah, that's a fantastic program, isn't it? So, were you one of the judges?
No, just getting my students there from a low socioeconomic school. It was just an amazing experience for them. So,
I've been a judge for Young ICT Explorers in New South Wales and in Victoria, and I think I was in Queensland for a while too, and just love it every time I get involved. It was very, very cool. Taught in remote and metro. So whereabouts in remote?
In the APY land, so in a place called Armata, about 50k south of the Northern Territory border, but about, 5 hours drive from Alice Springs. So
that's very remote. Oh, that's lovely. I'm excited about learning how to code. Which language are you going to be learning?
I think that was there already, but yeah, I've been dabbling a bit in JavaScript and HTML. So yeah.
Most of the Adobe applications have been built with JavaScript, so that's a good one to know about. Let's give Abigail a round of applause. Well done. Now, we've only got time for one more, so we've got a few other resources we need to share. So I'm going to say first stretch. Whoever shares first will be able to share. Who's going to jump in first to share? No one. All right, I'm going to pick on Kate. How about you, Kate? Are you able to share yours? Is that Kate responding, saying she only had photos? Okay, no, that's fine. What about Mercy? Are you able to share yours?
I think Mercy's away. Her icon shows that the.
Yeah.
Oh, you here?
Yeah, but my internet was bad, so I missed most of the thing. But it's okay now.
No worries. How about Stephen? Are you able to share yours? No response. All right, we have run out of time for sharing, but thank you for those people who did share. That was terrific. I'm just going to quickly share my screen again as we wrap things up for this session. And Cindy, if you want to get prepared to advertise the next sessions coming up, that would be terrific.
Yep.
Let's This is a resource that I started building pretty much in December once. Well, actually, I started building it well before the launch, to be honest with you, because I knew it was happening. And then I had to redo it all because there was an edict made by Adobe that said you cannot call Creative Cloud Express CCX. And I was calling it CCX right throughout this resource. So I had to redo the resource, but it's not quite finished. In fact, it'll probably never be finished. It's something that we'll just keep adding to and building all along. I'm going to put the link in the chat, just if that's going to be easier for you. And then I think I've got Rob the Robot, who's my personal assistant via Adobe Character Animator, who's going to be sharing about this, I think. Oh, no, he's going to share in a minute. What I want to do is actually show you this resource live. So I'm going to jump into the actual live version of this resource and show you what it looks like. Creative Cloud Express. So what I'm really proud of in this particular resource is the fact that the whole thing's been built with Creative Cloud Express, pretty much, in terms of this is a Creative Cloud Express web page that I've added. And if you found the poster or the infographic simple to work with, you're going to find this just as simple, if not even easier, to create a web page. There's a video there that I played to you earlier, so there's a link to that video. It's on YouTube. You can share that with your school. There's the official video that comes from our global team, and you can look at that as well. Then we go into the contents, and we've got introduction to Creative Cloud Express, answering a few key questions. And then when you get to the getting started, how to log in, how to manage your projects. And all of these different how-tos, if I click on this one, like starting a graphic with templates, for instance, it has a video tutorial, and I'll just play the beginning of this so you get a sense of. Let's start creating a graphic with a template. Notice that when you click the plus symbol with the purple, I'll just pause that. So that's this kind of style of the videos. But if you're more the type of person who prefers to have a sheet or just some step-by-step guides rather than looking at a video, then you can click the PDF graphics template for this one. And every little element of Creative Cloud Express has a video and a PDF user guide for you. You can even print this out and put it in the classroom or hand it out as a worksheet. Not a worksheet, not that we do worksheets anymore, folks. I'm not encouraging worksheets, but this is a really nice user documentation, simple one-pager, and a QR code that takes you straight to that video if that's what you prefer, or you can use a mixture of the two. So that resource I'm particularly proud of, and we've still got a bit more work to do on it. And there's some little activities, and always go back to the contents. And the contents is based on graphics, based on video stories, and we're still working on building more in the web pages side of it. And of course, because Creative Cloud Express includes Premiere Rush, I've got a series of tutorials there on Premiere Rush as well that you now have access to for free. And then some key resources, of which I've already mentioned a few of them to you earlier. So that I want to encourage you to have. It's totally free of charge. There's an article I just published recently in January this year, which is all about the importance of creativity in education. Encourage you to have a look at that. That article is now being rewritten for Digital Learning Teaching Victoria and a couple of other organisations that have asked for a rewrite of it as well. So that's a nice one. If you're looking at the academic side of why creativity is important, then there's some really good meat in that article for you if you're wanting to still justify why these sorts of things are important. And let's just hear from Rob. This is my personal assistant, Rob the Robot, who has got a little message for you.
Well, hello folks, it's Rob the Robot here from the Adobe Education team. The start of 2022 has opened up many opportunities to enhance digital literacy, collaboration, communication skills, engagement, and most importantly, creativity in your classrooms with the help of Adobe. Last December, Adobe launched an improvement and rebranding of Adobe Spark to the new Adobe Creative Cloud Express set of apps, as well as Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education, which is free for all K-12 schools globally. to help celebrate this announcement and support teachers and students, we have launched a new resource called Get to Know Adobe Creative Cloud Express. Look up adobe.ly/express-APAC to access this resource. It is a one-stop shop to help and support teachers and students and includes video tutorials and simple one-page user documentation resources covering many of the features within Adobe Creative Cloud Express. The Adobe Teach Meets program is happening again in 2022. Find out more via adobe.ly/teachmeets. Each Teach Meets session provides an opportunity for teachers to enhance their knowledge and skills with either simple, low-lift and high-impact tools like Adobe Creative Cloud Express, as well as the high-end applications found within the full Adobe Creative Cloud. The Inject Creativity Live YouTube show is back in action in 2022 with a new lineup of amazing Adobe education leaders who will be sharing their expertise. Find out more via adobe.ly/injectcreativitylive. If you haven't already, look up adobe.ly/contact-edu-APAC to join the monthly Australasian Adobe in Education Update newsletter. And if you would like more regular updates, join the Australasian Adobe Education Community Facebook group via facebook.com/groups/AUSAEL. During 2022, we have 3 challenges for each of you. 1, get to know and work with an Adobe application that you currently are not familiar with. 2, recruit at least one of your colleagues into the Adobe Creative Educator program. And 3, run at least one Adobe-related professional learning session for your school or faculty and share about it in the Facebook group. Have a great 2022, and on behalf of the wider Adobe Education team, keep being creative.
Thanks, Rob. It's always good to have a Rob the Robot to help you with these sorts of things. Let's finish off this session here. We have a QR code that takes you to our contact form if you want to be on our email list. I've got hundreds of South Australian teachers now, thanks to these webinars, who have joined that monthly newsletter. And we just hit the 50,000th teacher to subscribe to that newsletter now. So really, really pleased with those numbers. And there's a feedback form there from the Department for Education for these webinars. And Cindy, do you have a copy of the link to that feedback form? To make it
Tim, I probably forgot to mention that we're going through a different system this time. So
Sorry.
each person, no, all good. I'll send you an email afterwards. So each person will receive a Plink certificate, and there should be some feedback questions there. So that will be automated. We'll go through the list of people that came in, and we'll send that to you tomorrow.
Thank you. Well, folks, I'm going to give you a few minutes back in your day. Unless I'm happy to hang around and ask any answer any questions, or have a chat with any of you. But we've covered everything that I wanted to cover for this topic. Cindy, what's our next one? What's our next session together?
So I've just posted it in the chat. So I need to still update the title for this one. So making great videos in minutes with Spark Video and Premiere Rush. So I'll need to update that Spark Video. So I pasted the link in there to register, and then there's also a link to all of our future sessions coming up this year.
Lovely. So that's Thursday, the 3rd of March at 3:30 p.m. your time. And that'll be a fun one. So we'll be using similar sorts of tools, but we'll also go into Premiere Rush as well for that session.
And there was a question as well. So with regards to not being able to make the next session, that's completely fine. So we'll be putting all the recordings up onto Edit, as well as there'll be a YouTube channel that's dedicated to all this. So everyone that attended today will send you an email as well with the link to the recording, so you won't miss out.
And of course, there's lots of on-demand courses you can do at your leisure at any time you want to through the Adobe Education Exchange. And I might just finish by putting that link into the chat. It's edx.adobe.com. And as I said earlier, we hit 1 million teachers on this resource last year. I was so pleased to hear that number. So that's the link there. And when you're in the Education Exchange and you go to the professional learning section, there's a little button here that says view all self-paced courses, And that shows you the full gamut of things that you can just do at your own leisure. Whenever you've got a few minutes spare, you can just gradually work through these courses to improve your own knowledge and your professional learning. You get a sense of how long the courses go to, how many teachers have already done them, and that gives you an idea of what they're all about. So folks, that's probably a nice way to finish off this session, and I hope you have enjoyed it, and most importantly, I hope you've come away with some ideas and some inspiration to help make your classes really, really creative and encourage your students to keep being creative whenever they possibly can. And all the very best.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank
Really
you.
enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks, David, and thanks for keeping the
Very
camera
much.
too. That's really helpful. That's great.
See you.
Thanks, mate.
Bye.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, Matthew. And thank you, Cindy, and thank you, Abigail, for moderating.